Also, did I all of a sudden join a frat or a baseball team? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe. Maybe not. Good morning, good evening, and good night. My name is Dalton Kaufman, and do I have a story for you? So today I want to tell you a story. It's a very traumatic story, an experience that happened to me a little over a week ago on the metro system, which is like the subway, the public transportation here in LA. Well, about a week ago, it was not that pleasant. It was actually pretty terrifying. I almost died. I was shaking. I was literally shaking because I was so scared that on this particular day, it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday evening, super casual, just chill day, evening, whatever. It's around 7:30, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go home and like go to bed or like watch Netflix or you know, something. And so I'm just going on about my day, about my business, and I go to the metro and I witness, first of all, some girl almost try to commit suicide, and then the same girl almost murder a dog. It's not funny at all, but I don't know how else to cope with traumatic situations. But oh my gosh, literally the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I go to the metro, I go down the little escalators, minding my own business, just going about my life, not trying to interrupt anyone else's life, hoping no one else interrupts my life. Well, my life got interrupted. In the metro platform, I don't know, if you've never been in a metro or a subway, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it in movies, I'm not gonna explain it. So, I get down to the platform for the train that I need to take, and I get down there and I look at the screen and it's like, oh, the train that I need to take will arrive in 7 minutes or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, great, cool. I'll just stand here and wait. And I look over to my left and there's this girl who is all the way down at the end of the platform. Like, here's the tunnel for like when the train leaves, you know, and she's literally standing right here. And at first I'm like, what is this girl doing? Like, the train doesn't go that far. Like, you're not gonna be able to get on the train. Like, what are you doing? And she was just standing there. I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna mind my own business. I just wanna get on the train and get home. And pretty soon, she's standing right by the tunnel, right? And she starts peering her head through the tunnel as if she's waiting for the train to come, right? So she's like standing here, here's the tunnel, and she's just like looking and looking, waiting for the train. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's literally waiting for the train so she can like jump in front of her or something. Like, that's the only logical explanation I could think of. Like, this girl's literally waiting for the train so she can jump into the tracks and like, you know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Like, I can't call 911, I don't have any service. Like, I don't know if anybody else sees this. Like, what if she does this and this is my fault because I didn't stop her, because I'm the only one that saw her and no one else did, so nobody else stopped her, so she went. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, I'm scared. So, I was just like, you know, she's not gonna do it. And in my mind, I was just hoping, I was like, she's not gonna do it, she's not gonna do it. It's not possible, she can't do that. And so eventually the 7 minutes or whatever we had to wait goes by, and the speaker comes over and it's like, the train to North Hollywood is arriving. I'm still looking over at this girl on the edge of the platform, and she literally, when the speaker comes over and says, the train to North Hollywood is arriving now, she literally sits down on the platform and puts her legs like into the train tracks. Like, if the train would come, like, it would literally hit her because her legs were in it. Would hit her and like drag her, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this girl is gonna like just nonchalantly slide into the tracks and no one's gonna notice. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Holy freaking crap, I don't know, I'm scared. And the train starts coming into the station and it's honking its horn because the driver or the captain or the conductor, whatever he is, sees this girl sitting with her legs into the tracks, and so he's like honking his horn real loud, like, hey, the train's coming, you better move or you're gonna get ran over and die. And then finally, luckily, some actually good citizens ran up to her and like literally grabbed her by the back. She had a backpack on, and literally grabbed her by the backpack and dragged her back off of the platform so she wouldn't get hit by the train. And so I was like, oh, I was relieved. I was like, okay, good. This girl is not about to do something that she would regret, or, you know, that she doesn't actually want to do, and I don't have to witness it. Like, I'm relieved, she's okay, thank goodness. The very first car stops literally right where I'm standing. And the doors open, some people get off, and I get on. Right before the train doors close, this girl walks up to the door and gets on the train. Then the train starts moving, and we're going, and it's a minute before the next stop, right? Like it's like a period of time before we get there. And not too long after we started moving, this girl yells something at somebody like, oh heck no, F you, some explicitives. And then she comes up to the front of the car and stands right in front of me. And at the time I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. There's this group of people, and there's this 2 girls and a guy, and the guy was sitting on the floor because there were no seats, and he had a dog on his lap. And I don't know if the dog must have like pooped into the bag he was holding or something, but all of a sudden he started talking to his other 2 friends, the girls, and was like, oh, it smells like poop, something about poop, and like it's smelling. Literally not talking to anyone except the 2 girls that he was with. And for some reason, this girl that just tried to jump into the train tracks that was right in front of me, literally less than 1.5 feet away, probably not even a foot away from me. She's standing, I'm right here, she's literally right here. She, for some reason, decides to turn around and just flip the lid on this guy. She starts yelling at him. She's like, I'll kill you, I'll kill your dog. She literally said those exact words. And so this guy, of course, gets up and like starts yelling back at her, because, I mean, if someone's yelling at you saying they're gonna kill you and kill your dog, like, that's not just, for literally no reason at all, that's not something you would just ignore, you know? And so he gets up and starts yelling back, and she just literally, all she keeps saying is, I will kill you, I'll kill your dog, I don't give a blankety blank blank blank, you're a piece of crap, quit killing people, I'll kill, like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Meanwhile, I'm still literally less than 1 foot away from this girl, and then the guy is like 3 feet away, right? So I'm just like standing there, pressed up against the railing, like trying not to be a part of it. We're about halfway to the next stop at this point. And she's like lunging and like yelling, like, I'll kill you, I'll kill your dog, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can't we all just like, be okay? Like, he wasn't even talking to you, like, chill out. I mean, of course I didn't say that. I was not about to be a part of it. And all of a sudden, I look down at her hand while she's yelling at this guy that said absolutely nothing to her. I look down at her hand, and as she's yelling, I'll kill you, I'll kill your dog, I look down at her hand, and she is gripping an actual knife. And not like a small Swiss Army knife or like pocket knife or anything like that. Like, it was a freaking knife. Like, it was big. And I was like, I freaked out in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl literally has a knife. She's saying she's gonna kill him, kill her dog, his dog. Oh my gosh, what's happening? She literally has a knife. She's yelling, what's gonna happen? Someone's gonna die, something's gonna happen, everyone's gonna die. I don't know what's happening. And still, this girl is less than 2 feet away from me, and I am freaking out. I am freaking out so hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, please, train, stop at this next station. I'm ready to bolt off this train. Luckily, I was right by the door, so as soon as those doors were gonna open, I was gonna bolt and just run as fast as I possibly could. And then, of course, this poor little dog is scared, and the dog is scared because she's yelling at the dog. And so the dog, of course, starts barking at her. And when the dog started barking at her, it upset her. And she literally, with her knife in hand, went and lunged for this dog. She literally tried to stab this poor dog. And I was like, oh my gosh. And luckily the dog was like on a leash, and the guy saw that she was like lunging, and so they like yanked back the leash and got the dog out of the way. So thankfully, she didn't hit the dog. Nothing happened to the dog. The dog was okay, thank goodness. But if they would not have pulled back on that leash, this girl literally would have stabbed this poor dog in the head with a knife on the metro. So the train's coming to a stop, and so she stops yelling and swinging her knife, and she comes right back up to the door. So I'm still standing here, she's literally standing here, the door's right here, and less than a foot apart, less than it. Had to be. And so like I'm still freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl still has this knife in her hand. I don't know what she's gonna do. Is she gonna stab me? Is she gonna turn around and go crazy and stab everyone? I don't know what's gonna happen. So I was so scared. But so she comes right back up to the door and right next to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a step this way. Cause like I don't wanna be right next to this girl with a knife who just tried to stab a dog. Thankfully, the door's open and she gets off. So I'm like, okay, good, I'm staying on. I still had another stop to go anyway. But anyway, I'm okay, the dog is okay. I hope the girl is okay. I felt that the world should know that I had a traumatic experience. How am I making this almost suicide and almost dog murder about me? I guess that's a millennial for ya. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you, I'll see you next time. Possible frat baseball player boy person is out.